Hello, Facebook.
We are recording.
We got to take a picture.
Remind me again. Out of all of us, like at least one of us should be able to remember.
You said something else we need to remind you of something.
I did, didn't
Well,
I?
it was in the message.
Well, look it up on the message and see what it was.
Duh.
It must not have been that important, right? I hope not.
It was reminded you to do something. I don't remember what it was.
See, none of y'all pay attention to me. That's the problem.
We did. We remembered that you said something.
But you don't remember what it was.
You wanna be starting something? You got to be starting something.
No love for the guy. I guess we can take this guy off the screen.
Yeah.
And let's get our video stream up. I'll turn the volume.
Yo, can I send my headphones back if it does this?
Why'd you buy Beats, first of all?
Because they're good.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Alright.
I like the sound.
They basically monster headphones
That's
with
good.
like $200 extra added on and a cool B logo.
Oh! It is important.
He really is hard.
I like them.
Oh, we can talk
In fact, I got some.
Yeah, see? Thank you. He's just a hater.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, there's been some changes with that anyway.
Okay.
We'll work it out.
Some recent developments.
Very
As
recent.
of the run last night.
A very recent development.
Mhm.
Is anybody watching this shit?
Anybody watching?
I don't think so. I think that's just us.
Oh, that's just us.
The one
Hey,
that's
us.
Hey guys.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Can you
is
get rid of
late.
that X in Chip's face?
I think it's late. You
Oh, is that
know,
on here? All right.
you can actually do this.
I'll expand it.
But you know that's gonna weird me out because it's so delayed. Like I don't think I want to see it that big. I just want to see if anybody like has a comment. That's what we can address their comments. If y'all have comments, then type them and we'll address them as we go through this or something like that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and start this recording.
1,002.
Oh shoot, I don't have a card in here.
That could be a problem.
See, now y'all see like the kind of issues we go through when we're trying to start this. Let me eject first, Roy. Can you hand me that card out the back?
It's right there.
Nah, that's a
Oh.
different card. The card out the back of the computer.
You sure I can pull it out?
You can pull it out. Thank you.
Pause.
Pause. That's what she said.
You got to share it. You got to share it. Go to your Facebook page.
I still got a viewer. Somebody's watching.
Sweet.
Not anymore.
My
So
mom.
y'all ain't doing that.
They lost interest.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Loading. All right. Now we're about to start going live.
Shout out to Booker once again for this intro.
Yeah, I never get tired of this intro song.
Mm-mm.
It's so dope. We've got talent in the running community,
Right?
real runners. Have you heard this yet, Chip? This is our intro song.
Nice.
Booker did it.
I like it.
Yeah, you are listening to Real Runners of Atlanta, the podcast. I'm Darrell, here with Roy and Omari, and today we have our second ever guest co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Chip Owens. Welcome to the show, Chip.
Thank you, fellas.
This is episode 8.0, and we're going to get straight to it. Chip, briefly, just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. My name's Chip, and I am the guy you see with the two little kids running around town, talking. And running's a family business. We run on a daily basis, and that's our thing, man. We go out and we run with folks, and there's really nothing to it, you know. We like running. We like sharing time with other people. So we combine those two passions to get in as many opportunities to run with other people as we can. And we operate a couple of the family businesses expanded to boot camp, which is a daily thing, and then once a year we try to get as many people in the Atlanta community together for the MLK Day 5K drum run.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which was my first race ever, by the way. January 16th, 2012. I ran my first race, and I guess Chip, you directed your first race.
That's right. We
Nice.
we started in 2012.
Nice, nice. Now Chip's being like modest. He says like he runs with his kids, but actually like his kids are like little cyborgs.
Yeah.
Because what I remember from the MLK most is that every single MLK, I'm feeling good. I'm like running like, yeah, I'm in a good zone. And then like some little person just comes like flying by me, and it's always a little kid with the last name Owens.
There's a couple of them out there, and there's actually another one in Charleston, South Carolina right now who is the top dog in the family. His name is Dolan Owens. He's a 154 half miler as a 9th grader, and then John got third at the MLK Day 5K drum run 2 years ago, and he missed the gun last year like a fool. So
Yeah.
you know, and then Evan is 11 years old, and he's the guy that most people in the running community identify with because he's like me. He just won't stop talking.
Right.
And he's very personable, and but we actually do believe that he has the most talent of any of us, and probably will take it further than any of us. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
So what is your role like with your kids? Do you like actually coach them yourself, or is it like more of a support thing when it comes to their running?
Originally, it was just an activity.
Yeah.
So it was just, and we wanted them to be in an activity, but not necessarily for the activity itself, but for the fellowship. So in other words, they came to boot camp with me, and they could identify with the people there, and they had relationships with the people there. They learned how to talk to adults,
Right.
and so and they met other kids there as well. And then what evolved, of course, is since they were doing it all the time, the fitness came. So they got, you know, fast, they got strong, they could do a lot of push-ups, they could do a lot of sit-ups, they could do a lot of that stuff. And then when John turned 12, that's when we shifted from it being an activity to training. And now that's a decision that has to be made by the child. You know, John made the decision that it was time, that he wanted to do it, and so he demonstrated that by making some choices on his own, and then I began to train him. And so the workouts that we did, mostly a bunch of hill running, and then we got to work, you know, and the thing that I preach the most is a high fitness level along with the running. So the running is important, but just as important to us is the fitness, and we talk about it every day. How far did you run, and how many reps did you do? How many push-ups did you do? How many sit-ups did you do? He's a sophomore now in high school, so now he's into the gym. He's actually lifting weight, which is not bad for runners. Evan's just now, in fact, in the last week, transitioning from that initial phase of activity to he's in day 3 of training right now. In his whole life, like this is it. He's just starting to train.
Wow.
Now the MLK Day 5K drum run has been successful for 5 years in Atlanta. It's a very popular race. You know, people remember it, and they come back and they run it again. We're very proud of that. So this year we're going to move it to Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's you know it's in the historic district. In the Civil Rights District. So it's going to start and finish at the 16th Street Baptist Church.
Oh, wow.
And so as it turns out, we went...
That's an exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
It's
So
big, yeah.
it's no longer going to be in Atlanta.
It's in addition to Atlanta.
Oh, so it's going to be 2.
That's another exclusive.
So what's going to be the date for that one?
That's on Saturday, and now we're going to decide whether or not we're going to be on the Saturday. But when we went out there and started meeting the people in the running community in Birmingham, one of the first people we met is a lady named Jerry, who's very popular in the running community in Birmingham. She's like the Tess of Birmingham.
Yeah.
And they were asked to put on a youth national championship, a USA Track and Field Youth National Championship, cross country championship, December 10th. So Evan will be going to Birmingham before January for the MLK 5K Drum Run to run a national championship. He's going to run in a national championship, 11 and 12-year-old national championship in Birmingham, Alabama. And so we just started training him for that. And the crazy thing about it is the doggone people that are putting on that event, we've already met with for a whole other event. So that's how tiny the running community is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's clear now, just through this brief interview so far, that you're a guy that wears like many hats. One, we haven't talked about it yet, but you are a beyond phenomenal runner yourself. Obviously, you are raising and cheering on kids that are phenomenal as well. And then you're a race director with now a growing number of races. So let's say between those three, race director, coach, or runner, which of those do you like the best? Where do you see the most enjoyment?
Well, the first thing I do every day is for the kids. You know, first I'm a father, so I'm a dad to my boys. And that's the number one thing. So since they go to school, I really don't have to do a whole lot until after school. But I won't work out in the morning now if I'll skip the morning workout if I know I got something coming up in the afternoon with Evan. So that's now always part of my thought process as the day begins. In the morning, there's about anywhere between 20 and 40 people waiting in a parking lot down in Peachtree Battle every morning for me to come down there. And we work out for an hour every morning. That's been going on for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years.
So you do that every morning at Peachtree
Every
Battle?
morning, yeah.
What time?
Is it open? Can we give out details?
Oh, yeah,
Just,
yeah. All right, so Peachtree Battle Shopping Center is where Peachtree Battle dead ends to Peachtree Road. And people recognize it by the Starbucks that's right there. In fact, that's where I saw you guys running down. Remember when y'all were running, it's probably June, it was before Peachtree, and I was hollering at you guys. We were heading to an event and y'all were doing a long run. So Peachtree, when you're going down Peachtree, it bottoms out at the hill, the bottom of the hill.
So me and Booker doing that 16-mile run.
Yeah.
That 16-mile run from Lennox, well, from the Ferris wheel to Lennox Mall, then back.
Yeah.
To the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. So the 3-mile mark of the Peachtree Road race is just a little bit up the road from that spot, and that's Peachtree Battle Shopping Center. That Starbucks is there.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we
I know.
go.
So we meet right there in that parking lot. I've been meeting. We used to meet across the street, but now we meet in that parking lot because the security's better. There's armed guards in there, so you don't have to worry
And
about.
what time again?
5:55 a.m.
Wow.
So we used to call it 6 a.m. But you say 6 a.m. people show up at 6:10 and we're already gone.
Yeah.
You know, so you tell them 5:55, they go, oh, 5:55. That means I got to be there before 6.
Right.
So they show up by 6.
Smart.
Yeah, and then we go out the door at 6:01 basically. So we've been doing that for 10 years, and it's 52 weeks a year. So yeah, it's a lot of years.
And is the cost or?
Yeah, the initial cost is if you're listening right now and I heard you on the podcast, it's $125 for 6 weeks. So that's 30 workouts for $125. Anytime you bring someone, you also get that. It's a half price deal. The normal price is $250, but what we ask for is for folks to bring new people.
Right.
So what we have is we have a core group that has been there for 9 or 10 years, or 8 or 9 or 10 years, and then we have folks coming and going all the time.
Right.
And so the younger folks tend to try to bring in more young folks so they can get the half price deal. And then there's a lot of established folks that have been there and they don't care what the price is. They're going to keep coming because that's all they've ever done. And I mean, I've got women I met at age 40 who have been with me for 10 years. They're now 50, and they look better at 50 than they looked when I met them.
That's amazing.
And it's amazing that all it takes is an hour a day.
Yeah.
You know, if you do that for a lifetime, you can actually grow old gracefully. And really, you can beat Father Time. You know, you can actually beat the clock over a long time. You know, you see folks age gracefully, and some folks do it. You know, if you don't run too much, you got to be careful because you see a lot of these guys in the running community that have been over mileage guys for years and years and years, and they look like pretty rotten. You know, they're wrung out. They're beat up. They're bent over. That's why we stress fitness too. You know, as they stand up straight, they've got an athletic looking body. You know, and it's just healthier.
Now, do you tailor make your workouts for, because I'm sure there's probably a range of clientele that comes in for one session. So how do you kind of split that up so that, the people who are more in shape can, feel like they're getting a good workout, but also people who might be older and, kind of struggling with that?
Well, this is the thing, and we did this with BMR once, and I want to do it more and more.
The killer workout.
Yeah.
In the heat.
Yeah. So what you do is, let's say you've got 30 guys, okay? And you're going to have a guy who just showed up for the first day ever, and he's out of shape. And then you've got me and the kids. Mm-hmm. So how in the heck are those two groups going to run together? Or, we got 63-year-old women in this workout. Mm-hmm. When you stop, we'll run down the road and we'll find a nice patch of grass and we'll drop right there and do a set of push-ups. Now, it's going to take me to run, let's call it a quarter because everybody can identify with a quarter. And everybody knows 8-minute mile is 2 minutes per quarter. And so the average person is going to run 2 minutes per quarter. Me and the kids are going to be more around 75 seconds, minute 15. Mm-hmm. And then these people are going to be like 3 minutes. Well, when we get to the quarter mile, we're going to drop, we're going to hold plank. We're going to hold plank for about 30 seconds. Then we're going to go to push-up position. Then we're going to do push-ups, half speed, full range of motion, cadence count. And so it's going to be 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. So that entire count for 20 push-ups is going to be another minute. All right? By the time we get done, the 3-minute quarter milers caught us. And we're like, and we smile to them. How you feeling? You okay? Everybody, you good? You good? You're all right? Let's go. And we do it again.
All right, hold on. Let me stop you right there. Because I don't know how many of y'all caught what Chip just said, but I'm pretty decent with numbers. So you're running a 5-minute mile pace for a quarter mile, and then you're going to do slow push-ups until the rest of the pack catches up with you. And then you're right off again at a 5-minute mile pace for another.
But you got to make sure
that's a big deal.
You got to make sure to smile to the guy that's in the workout because he wants to feel part of the workout.
That's right.
That guy put on his shoes same as you did.
That's right.
He made the trip down there same as you did, and it's the same hour, and you're on the same route. And so you have to identify with that guy. But here's the thing. That guy's got no chance of running 3 miles with me, okay? It's just not going to happen. But if I stop and do exercise every quarter mile or 200 meters or whatever, that guy's going to see me 15 times over the course of a 3-mile run.
Yeah.
So every single time we stop, I can have a conversation with him if I want to. I can say, how you feeling, man? You doing all right? Is everything going good? All right, here we go. There's a hill coming up here. You going to be all right? All right, man, we're glad you're here. And you can just make them feel welcome. And then what happens is they start identifying with other people in the workout over the course of time, and friendships grow. And you guys know this well through BMR is you start, seeing people on a weekly basis, and then friendships grow. And my feeling about the running community, there's a certain amount of when you go out and you race together and you train together, there's a high price. If you're willing to pay a high price, there's a high price that can be paid. You can go out and pay a high price in a workout, and you're dying. You're thinking to yourself, I might die. I might actually die. And you look over your right, and there's a guy that's right there, and he might actually die. You are connected to that person for the rest of your life. You're always going to think back to that workout because the fear that you might die is shared with a person right next to you. Mm-hmm. You two are connected for life. That's a friendship that will never end. And that's what the running community does, is it binds people in a way that no other way. You can't go to a bar and hang out with somebody and talk to them and feel that way.
Right.
And that's not an experience you're going to remember 10 years. But you're damn sure going to remember that 10-mile tempo run you did on Collins Drive in the 85-degree heat on Sunday with the guys you did it with.
As long as you don't actually die.
No one dies.
If you die,
See, that's the thing, is no one ever dies.
That's amazing. So we ran like that. I ran with the BMR guys in Philly, and they do something very similar.
Yeah.
I remember that same feeling. We were running through the streets of Philly, wide range of paces.
Right.
The guys in the front would run, wherever. We're going to run to this street.
Yeah.
We stopped. They were doing chin-ups on the stop signs, real urban-like type stuff. And then when the rest of the pack caught up, the rest of the pack caught up, and then boom, they take off. That's a really cool idea.
Isn't that Marine? It comes from Marine? Where do you get that stuff?
Well, yeah,
I think
and
we
actually
got
it was
Chip.
no. I grew up in you know, so the family background. My father went to the Naval Academy, and he was a Navy pilot, and then I went to the Citadel, you know, and I ran track at the Citadel. So what I did is I married my high school and college track experience to my military college experience, and all we're doing every day is a standard Marine Corps PT run. So if you go to Parris Island on any given day, this is exactly what people do. They go out and they'll run 3 miles, but in the course of running those 3 miles, they do a minimum of 600 body weight, reps.
Yeah.
If it's today, and what we try to do is, when it's talking about tailoring, we try to do it just like a gym rat would do it. We do core on Monday, we do upper body on Tuesday, on Wednesday we go back to core, on Thursday we do legs, and we always finish with either core or upper body depending on what we're feeling, and depending on the weather. Nobody wants to lay in wet grass, so we'll bring out the little weights and do the little jazzercise exercise, shoulders, back, bis, and tries on Friday if it rains Thursday. If it rains tonight, we're doing, anybody listening, if it rains tonight, we're doing upper body tomorrow, so.
Just so you know, we've got people listening. I'm checking out the comments that are coming in live. This is the first time we're doing this. This is an experiment with you here, but we got, great way to build camaraderie. That's coming from
Marcia Dowling Rogers.
So she's agreeing with it.
Yeah.
Good way to keep everyone together. CJ is saying we're doing a great job. So guys, if you're listening, and ladies, just know that we hear you, and thanks for the feedback.
Keep dropping comments.
This is fun. I mean, you cannot like your own podcast, Lord. I'm pretty sure that's sort of
funny right now.
So Chip,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go. So, being race director of the MLK 5K drum run for 5 years, and the director and also an instructor for 10 years at a Peachtree Road boot camp, what is it that's fueled your passion for fitness?
I'm an addict. I mean, I like to sit here and make it something that's not, but I mean, I'm an addict,
Yeah.
I mean, and so, I got to do it. I got to do something. I mean, I have to burn 1,000 calories a day. I have to burn them. If I don't, I can't sleep. And so, I'm not going to hit the pipe. I'm not going to hit the bottle. I put all that down.
As we sit here.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. I think that's my downfall too.
Yeah.
I need to start back putting that back down.
Yeah. No, it's you guys are normal. See, y'all don't know, and I've shared this
No, I just
before.
recently started.
I've shared this before. I've been straight edge now for 7 years. So
Congratulations.
yeah, and I was I used to pride myself when I was over 40 years old I was in the 50-50 club. I could run 50 miles a week and drink 50 beers a week. So controlled drinking for me was 7 beers a day and 7 miles a day. The problem is if you start racing too much and you get hurt, now what do?
Right.
Drink.
So
7 beers a day. And
Yeah.
I was 7 beers every 2 hours. I was 20 beers a day. So I was killing myself, and so it wasn't working out. So I put all that down and went back to the old school, man. Went back to what I grew up with, doing. And I started when I was a baby. I mean, I think I walked out the door when I was 5 years old, and there was a bamboo forest behind my house. And I took a left turn, and there was some single track that deers had laid down. And I hit the gas and ran, and I liked it. So I remember just going as absolutely hard as I could, almost to the point where I tried to knock myself out. I'd like to see if I could knock myself out.
Right.
And I remember the elation that I felt, and I was hooked. That was it. And from that point forward, I was running. And so I was going to all-comers meets in the mid-'70s. And then I ran my first Peachtree Road race in 1977. I ran my 40th Peachtree Road race this year.
Get out of here.
Nice.
Last month.
Congratulations, man.
So, I ran my first Peachtree Road race when I was 9 years old. What they didn't tell me when I was a kid, though, running produces endorphin, dopamine, serotonin, and my favorite, adrenaline.
Yep.
Okay? And so what a lot of people in America do these days is they take antidepressants, for whatever reason. That's a popular thing to do. It's easy. Take a pill, chill pill, whatever. But I don't want to be a slave to a pill,
Right.
and I don't necessarily think that stuff's that healthy for you. It's synthetic.
You put all that stuff in your body, and it just sits there and it just mixes. All those toxins build up. It's terrible.
It's not for me. Yeah.
Definitely not for me.
Jinx.
That's an amazing testimony. Seeing these comments from the viewers, it just reminds me. I want to make sure we did get a few comments that came in. And I'm gonna make sure I'm refreshing.
Doing that.
I'm glad I refreshed that. I got an extra one.
How did you motivate your kids to get out and run?
Well, I took them to the track, and initially they just played in the long jump pit. They're sitting in there playing in the sandbox. John started going to the track when he was still in the baby. You know how you can, rather than take the kid out of the baby seat, you can take the baby seat completely out. It locks in and pulls out. So what I would do is, when he was asleep, I'd carry him like a basket and put him right in the middle of the track, in the center of the 50-yard line. And that way, no matter what, if somebody tried to get him, they weren't going to outrun me. So I could see him all the time. I could just look over my left shoulder. There he is. He's asleep. I'd turn it so he would be in the shade. Shaded, yeah. And so their earliest memory, even before their earliest memory, they've been going to the track. One day when John turned 7 or 8, I can't remember what it was, he walked up to me and goes, "Hey Dad, can I run with you?" And I said, "Man, I've been waiting for you to ask me that question for like 7, 8 years."
Nice.
And I go, "Yeah, here we go." And that's when it started for him. And then once he started, the little brother was definitely good. You know how that goes, Yeah, so that was too easy. What I always say, and you hear this in every sport, start them when they're young. Start them when they're young. If they don't know any better, if they don't know, if that's how they grew up, if they don't know the difference, they don't know. They don't know. My kids don't have video games at home. We don't have a video game set at home. When they walk in the house, I confiscate their phones. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing tonight, but you're not going to be on your phone. And I put mine down too. They have to talk to me. And so there's a lot of old school and all that. But the main thing is just I never asked them, "Do you want to go running?" What I say is, get in the car. And when we get to where we're going, if they want to run, great. If they don't, then they're going to stand around and watch me run. Yeah. Take your pick. Either run or watch me run, but you're going to go. Originally, I would take, if you guys know Piedmont Park, the lake is kind of near the pool. Yeah. And there's a bridge, and it's really pretty. But there's a road that goes around the lake, okay? And if you think about that road, it's the thing that's closest, paved thing closest to the lake all the way around. Mm-hmm. It is almost exactly 1 mile. Yep. Okay, so I showed this to Tess a couple years ago. She started talking about the mile relay, or the mile series. And I said, I've got a mile for you. I want to be in charge of this. I want to help you with this race. I want to help you with this event, this specific event. And I showed her that mile. Well, John, when I was training and John was 3 1/2, he would ride his little training wheel bike out there, and he could spin that thing fast enough where he could run. He could go faster than I could. I was running 6-minute pace. He was going faster than that.
Wow.
And we'd go after work, so it was getting dark. I had to tell him about Baby Snatcher. Listen, you're going to get away from me, so you got to watch out. If Baby Snatcher grabs you, I want you to start screaming fire. Because Baby Snatcher, people don't understand what you're saying.
My dad always taught me that too: scream fire, not help, because everybody says help, regardless whether you're in trouble or not.
Yeah. And so what we would do is we took chalk. The little kid chalk, street chalk, yeah. And we'd make a finish line or starting line, and we'd write the word start, and then we'd march back to the exact point where it was the mile marker, and we'd mark the word finish. Yeah. And this started when he was 3 1/2. And so that would be the first 20 minutes of us being out there, and then we do the workout. And I'd have, I'd time it, of course, I'd keep but one of his first memories of doing this was he was on his bike, and he and the old man were out there doing repeat miles in Piedmont Park with start-finish line written we would go all the way across that road. Then you fast forward 10 years, and we actually have a start-finish line in Piedmont Park, and we have thousands of people out there, and we just kept doing it.
Full circle, man.
Yeah,
the arc of that story is pretty cool. I didn't even think about that.
No, I mean
A literal arc, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and we have it's same road.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a cool story.
Yeah.
Let's hit some of these questions from the viewers. This first one came from Carlos B. When you guys submit these comments, by the way, they come in anonymous, but if you put your name, I'm just going to assume you want me to say your name. So, Carlos B, he asks,
Hey, Carlos.
yeah, y'all know Carlos. Running with my 13-year-old son is such a great experience, especially seeing where he started when he ran his first marathon at age 11 until now. Having run his 7th half marathon recently, what does it mean to you to share your running experience with your sons?
Well, I think with anyone, the experience is, the word inspire, the root meaning of the word inspire is to breathe. So you inspire and then you expire. That's the root meaning of those two words are breathe in, breathe out. Okay? And so for me, the highest form of experience in life that we can share together is sitting like we're doing right now. We're breathing together. And when you talk about running, that shared experience is intensified by the fact that you're out there having to suck in harder, bring more oxygen. The fuel to running is air. Okay, so you'll notice as soon as your paces pick up, you're sucking more air in. Okay, right. You're inspiring at a higher level. Okay, you're expiring. VO2 max is just a measure of how much air, oxygen you can suck into your body, so that it can carry that oxygen through the bloodstream to your muscles. Yeah, and so what you're talking about is, when you go out together, when you walk out the door together, you're going out together to inspire with one another, with each other, inspire one another. But it has both meanings. It's not just breathing together. It's running has a way of bringing out people's character. You take a look at a hill, some people just want to fall to pieces and say, I'm walking. Another guy may put his head down and start hammering, Right. And so there's so many facets to the sport, and there's so many aspects that you can talk about in terms of, inspiring one another, inspiring with each other, and then you can go on and on about, I could take it to a spiritual level where, late in a race, I have run races, and I literally will just say, all right, if it's your will, God, I'll win. Otherwise, I'm done, because I got nothing left. And, if I win, I know why. So you can share all those experiences with anybody you want, but I think the most important thing to do is share them with the people that you love the most. Because when you have those experiences, you're never going to forget them, and that's something that most kids, they're never going to forget, and it's a higher form of living and a higher form of experience, I think, than sitting down and have dinner,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I think it's just
I
way more.
Literally want to walk upstairs and wake up my kids. Say, go run.
You can sit there and say, sit down for dinner, kid. Okay, how was your day at school? Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's always.
What did you do?
Good, okay.
I don't know.
Fine.
What did you? Yeah, right. And I don't even bother with that, man. I just go, all right, put your shoes on, let's go. And when John and I started training together, we were training at the river, and not a word would be spoken for 6 miles. Not a word. Not a single word for 6 straight miles. And but there's communication going on between us that's higher than verbal, okay? It's a higher form of communication. That shared experience is far greater than anything. Words would just devalue that experience. Okay, and so he and I have that, and that never gets taken away. I mean, we've had experiences like this year training for Peachtree. Man, I was rolling that kid out of bed at 5:15, even earlier than that, like 10 after, 5 after. And what we were doing is we do a mile warm up, and then we'd run a mile from Peachtree Battle to just past the hospital. So that's a mile uphill. Then we'd turn around and run back down the hill, and everybody'd be waiting for us at boot camp. Then we'd do the workout. Then, when the workout was over, we did the mile again, and we did the mile at race pace. The last time we did it, we ran a 5:42. So we went uphill, 5:42 uphill, and we had some stud dudes in the workout, and John and I beat them all. And so we get up there, and I turn around, and I give him a hug, and then everybody else comes, and we go home and get a pile in the car and go home. But that's not anything he's going to forget anytime soon.
That's right.
He's not gonna. He's not gonna forget that ever. And we showed him, something, and there's something to what we talk about with the kids is that winning. Steve Prefontaine said, that it's honoring the gift. It's to honor the gift. Winning isn't the ultimate goal here. It's to honor the gift. If honoring the gift is second place, then that's just as beautiful as getting first place.
That's right.
Now, but if you did not honor the gift, and you got second place, then you need to try a little harder. You gotta, because the harder you push, and the more honor you're doing to the guy you're racing. You want to give him your best. It's like the end of Rocky. When he went into Apollo Creed, he goes, "Did you give me your best?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Did you honor me?
Yeah.
And you can do that with your kids too.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good stuff, Chip.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that. Let's see. We've got
I got
two
one.
more questions. Let's
Okay.
get through the viewers, and then next question, Chip. You probably answered this already, but Chip, tell us your key training elements that keep you running at peak speeds.
Well, the hill workouts are key. You really just got to do hills once a week. Hills are speed work in disguise. There's so many things that hills do for you. You got to hammer them. You got to lean in, shorten your stride. Just the harder you can run hills, particularly in Atlanta, the better you're going to do. Even in track events, it gives you strength, it's speed, forces you to think about your form, all that good stuff. But then you can't run 5 days a week and be in your best shape. You got to run 6 days a week. If you're younger than 40, you can run 7 days a week as long as your seventh day is easy. Roy and I can go 6 days a week, okay, but I don't know about you, but I need a day off. I gotta have 1 day off. Okay, you take 2 days off a week, you're not training. All right, you're just not. If you run less than 5 or 6, you're just screwing around. You're not. Yeah, you're not.
Chip said it.
Yeah. So the thing is you don't have to kill yourself. You have to be careful. You gotta have. The way I do it is it's easy, medium, hard. And if you'll notice, and guys out there, gym rats particularly, all right, nobody likes to do leg day. I mean, nobody likes to do it, okay? They want to do curls, they want to do bench press, they want to do
Still muscles.
Curls for the girls.
Yeah, nobody wants to do squats. Nobody wants to get on that squat.
Cleans.
No, none of that. But what you know is if you do all that stuff,
Morris chest.
yeah, if you do legs on Monday, when are you going to feel that the most? Are you going to feel it Wednesday? When is it usually
Probably Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the next day. It's always the day after. Okay, and so rest works the same way. If you rest on Monday, you're going to be more ready to go on Wednesday. Okay, so what we try to do is we go easy, and then we follow easy with medium, and then we follow medium with hard. Okay, Because 2 days after easy is when you go hard, but then we go back to medium,
Yep.
and then we go back to easy because 2 days after hard, you got to go easy. And so we go,
Pyramid.
yeah, it goes up and down like this, and we do this weekly. It goes easy, medium, hard, medium, easy, medium, hard. And then even within that, easy, medium, hard, we start the workouts easy, progress to medium, go to hard, back off to medium, and finish easy.
So it's all tempo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's all, yeah, so we're changing gears constantly. We're changing gears in every workout, and then we're changing gears from day to day depending on the purpose of that day. And then finally, every day also has the fitness aspect element where what we've been doing more recently is Sunday we have off, Monday is medium, and we go straight to hard on Tuesday. And we always do weights on our hard day since we're putting such a pounding on our legs running tempo pace. We do the exercises our upper body. So we go core, medium, hard upper body, core, medium, easy legs, and then core, medium. And that's how we do it.
And,
And
Chip
then
just gave y'all some serious knowledge.
yeah, and then Saturday we go back to hard, and then Sunday's a rest day. But the Saturday could either be a race, or it could be a tempo run, or it could just be a long run. Go 10, 12 mile long run.
Nice.
What's the longest you usually just do 5Ks or?
Yeah, I do one 10K a year to Peachtree.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is 5Ks, and the reason is this: is if you run a marathon, the damage that you do to yourself is not completely apparent right at the finish line, and it's not apparent that night, and it's not apparent that next day, but it starts showing up 2 weeks down the road. And people always get hurt 2 weeks down the road, and they blame it on something else. Because it's been 2 weeks, and they think, oh, it's something else. And no, man, it wasn't something else. The micro tears that occur to your muscles over a 26-mile long run, okay, those things take weeks to heal. So if you aren't completely
what
healed,
happened
you're
to
just
me.
damaging yourself every time you walk out the door,
Chip, I
okay?
feel like you're picking on me.
So,
No, that's actually what happened to me when I did my first marathon.
Yeah.
Remember I got injured
yeah.
like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it's always 2 weeks later. Yeah, and so and half marathon is not as bad, but it's half as bad. And then with 10K for me, it's elusive because I always think I'm good. But this year I ran Peachtree. I ran okay Peachtree. I ran like 38:30. It was a lot slower than last year, but we had fun. I ran with my kid. 2 weeks later, out on Stone Mountain, hammering away, boom, twisted my ankle. Now I could sit here and blame it on the rocks and roots, but the reality was I wasn't fully recovered. And when I would normally just roll and keep going, this time it collapsed and I tore, and it was a mess. And so I wasn't ready. I went to a training period. I went from a race back into a training period probably a week too early, and it wound up costing me a month.
Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah, and so that's just at 10K. Now with a 5K, you go out and run a 5K, I mean, you go dancing that night. You want to put on ladies, you want to put on your high heel shoes and go dancing. You're good to go. And then you go to meet your folks on Sunday for your long run. You're good to go. You're recovered. You can race a 5K and then work out the next day and be comfortable knowing that you're not damaging yourself. And then with a mile, it's even better. You go out and you can literally try and kill yourself in a mile. You could be breathing so hard you think you're going to die. Lactic acid is just it's pouring over you. You feel like a gorilla is King Kong has got his grip on you and he's squeezing the life out of you. And you finish that, and an hour later you could be playing another sports. You could be playing basketball and not even know that you had a run earlier that day. And so the shorter and faster you're willing to go. For what we do for the fitness wise, we actually do better in the shorter races anyway.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, your specialty.
Right.
Let's roll through these questions. I think you might know this next person. Someone's named CMO. This question is for Chip. Man, why do you talk so damn much? It's right here on the screen. I'm not making this up, people.
He's trying to see who's gonna read it.
Ed, you know.
Yes,
Ed, I'm gonna do this for you.
Every
Ed.
comment.
Ed, I'm gonna do this for you, man. I'm gonna get down and do these push-ups because you know, I know you don't want to hear me.
Oh man, let's.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I got these headphones on though, so
You
it's
can take
kind
a
of
look, Chip.
kind of
It's
weird.
intense.
So I'm gonna do like these.
This is the first guest that
I wanna-
Done a workout.
I want to do like these
Push-ups.
diamond push-ups, man, because I want to get ripped like right down the middle, you know, like I want it to pop, you know, I want to get that thing popping.
I don't have insurance, so don't pop while you're in my house.
No, man, I'm talking about, I want to get pumped, you know, I want to have a pump, man. So when I'm hanging out with my man Ed, he won't be embarrassed, you know, like skinny white boy. See, I mean, now Ed, y'all invited me to come out and run with y'all a couple weeks ago when we went down to the civil rights thing and center, and I called Ed, and he had to have known. He was like, "Oh man," and I said, "Ed," I said, "we're going to show our solidarity with push-ups today." And he had mowed his grass. He was tired. He just wanted to go and go for a run.
Yeah.
He was so mad at me. He was tired of me. Oh yeah.
He probably thanked you the next day, though.
But it was good
No,
though, because
he
even on
not.
that run, it's like you pass so many things that you can use to work out with. Like
Oh, yeah, we were-
bike racks, we were doing
Yeah, we were doing dips on those, yeah.
And what was like, I think a stop sign, we were doing curls.
Yeah.
On that.
The
Like,
one thing I've always noticed, like on all of our runs over that Road Runner Sports,
Yeah.
when we got back, the water usually, I mean, we have to empty it out
Yeah.
at the end. That day, we ran out. We had to go back and get
Yeah.
some more water because everyone drank every bit of that water. in
Yeah.
that cooler. I mean, that was crazy. When I saw that, I was like, "This is the first time I think I've seen this thing empty."
And Chip wonders why we haven't done it again.
Yeah.
I think you broke everybody. Chip.
No, it was.
I want to do it again. I want to do it again. It was tough,
Yeah.
but I do want to do it again.
I wanted to be a preacher or a politician, Ed, and it just didn't work out. So unfortunately, you're stuck with me now. All right.
So speaking of all the 5Ks, I want to know why create the MLK 5K and what was your mission or your objective with creating that race?
Well, growing up in Atlanta, you know, there's a race for everything. I mean, there's a New Year's Day race, there's a Valentine's Day race, there's a Memorial Day race. You know, there's obviously the Peachtree Road race. You know, there's a Labor Day race. There's Halloween races. Thanksgiving's always big. You got Christmas races, and then it rolls right back around to New Year's Eve race or New Year's Day race. And I mean, they got a race for everything. They got a race for everything. But in all the years I grew up in Atlanta, there was never an MLK
Which is crazy.
race.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, there was never an MLK race, and so you know, there was a natural progression from being an instructor and already having a large groups of people working out with me. You know, I wanted to parlay that thing because I basically was putting together a fitness event every morning of my life, and I'm like, well, hell, why don't I have a big event? I mean, I grew up in road racing. Why don't I have a road race? You know, I can do this. And so I was trying to think, what's the formula that makes a road race popular? And if you look at the Boston Marathon, if you look at the Peachtree Road Race, you know, the New York Marathon is not quite as old, but it follows the same pattern. You gotta have the community buy into it. You know, the community has to buy into the deal, okay? And it has to fit into the fabric of the community. And you've got to appeal to, you know, like if you talk about Atlanta, you know, people say there's no culture in Atlanta. Okay, well, that's because they're not from Atlanta.
Right.
All right, just because we don't fit your form of culture, your style of culture, doesn't mean we don't have culture. So what are the big events in Atlanta? What's a huge draw in Atlanta is, you know, the Peachtree Road Race obviously is big, the Atlanta Track Club is big. The groups that have sprung up in the last 5 years have just been tremendous. And then, you know, what's another big event in Atlanta? What is another
Jazz festival.
Well, that, but how about the drum? How about the
The classic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the classic.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
that?
A Battle of the Bands.
FAMU and
Yeah, the Battle of the Bands
Well, it
draws.
changes, but the Atlanta Classic, yeah, Tennessee State is
Yeah.
played in it.
Yeah. So the Battle of the Bands draws 50,000 people.
oh for sure.
And
I know
so
we went every year
Yeah.
in college.
yeah, and so what we've done is we've married the Peachtree Road Race to the Battle of the Bands, and we've created an event that kind of captures, you know, the essence of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, what does Atlanta have to offer? We've already got a huge running community, but we also have, I mean, the Drumline movie. 2 Drumline movies have been filmed, created here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So really, if you want to talk about it, you know, that's a big part of Atlanta. You know, the Drumline community. And so the other thing is it's a national holiday, okay? Peachtree Road Race is on 4th of July, that's a national holiday. Martin Luther King Day is a national holiday. So, you know, you want to have, and it's a day, you know, where unfortunately it's not it still hasn't earned its place, you know, with the other holidays. It's still kind of far behind. In Atlanta, people talk about a day on versus a day off, and you know they try to make it a day of service and all this other kind of thing. But what we're doing is offering another option, you know, just fellowship, you know, community involvement. But we're just looking for participation. We're trying to inspire participation, create an event that captures the imagination of the city, gets the city to buy into it, and inspires participation in a way that you know, would get people to want to have fun and then want to do it again. You know, and that's really the way you grow an event. And these events outlive their creators. You know, Singleton, who created the Peachtree Road Race, died a couple of years ago, and that race is almost 50.
Yeah.
You know, and then Boston's over 100. You know, and then there's other races like that all over the country. So if you do it like Color Run, hell, they don't even have that anymore. I mean, when was the last time you did Color Run? You know what I mean?
Never.
You
Yeah,
know,
man.
we're still waiting on hot chocolate to die. If y'all can figure out a way to kill that thing, because those some bitches are killing me, dude. They're drawing 20,000 people 8 days after the MLK. Why do y'all go to that? It's stupid. What? So what? You get a hot chocolate? Come
I
on.
did write hot chocolate.
No, man, don't.
This is the first time I did it this year.
Dude, don't do
It
it.
This is the first time this year?
Yeah, but you ran MLK first, see, so that was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you tell me.
And MLK means something to me because it was my first race.
Right.
So there's a, you know, just off that, I have a strong connection to
Yeah.
MLK. Then obviously now,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, now obviously I know you too, so then that adds a different connection to it, and I know that it's authentic coming from you.
Right.
One, you run.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really, you know, you can always tell the difference between a race between when the race director's a runner and when they're not. Right.
Right.
You're like a legit runner.
Test.
And the second thing is, you know, well, 2 points. One, I just want to give you kudos because let's just face it, it's really interesting that we live in Atlanta and the MLK race had to be initiated by white men. That's just ludicrous. But the fact that you saw the void there, you did it, and then you incorporated the community in a real authentic way. I don't know how many of y'all listening know, but I
you did it
remember,
right.
you know, we went to the March for Justice, and Chip was right there with us. Chip is with us, you know, with a Black Man Run shirt on. Shoot, he's louder than probably all of us out there, you know, rallying the troops. And so, you know, it just feels real authentic. So just one, having the connection for it being my first race. Two, knowing that it's being put on by another runner. And three, knowing that it's being put on by a person who actually cares about the community that the race, you know, sort of centers around.
Well,
and not to say that the MLK race, I don't want to position it as in this, it's only for a certain group of people, but, you know, it's MLK. I mean, let's just be real. It's MLK. We're in Atlanta. You know, when you look at the bands that he's got out there, you know, you've got the local bands from your local high schools. There's a certain rhythm to it. There's a certain, you know, style to it that I just know it's legit. So shout out to the MLK race. I definitely make that a premier race that I have to attend every year. And I suggest anyone listening should do the same thing. Let me just scan through these comments real quick, see if there's anything. It's funny.
A bunch of comments now.
Yeah, so we got Jason. So Jason's the co-founder of Black Men Run. He's got a comment in here. He says, this
Oh God! Thank you, Jason.
Chip almost killed Omari during the BMR run at Road Runner last year. We would love to have you back out. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
And great job on the show. Thank you, Jason. So
Yeah.
Jason wants you back out there.
Now, Jason-
I think he wants you out there because you almost killed him off. So I don't know.
Well, Shone is my guy.
Yeah,
You know,
he's making some big improvements, man.
no, he's my guy because he bought it hook, line, and sinker. I never seen a guy. If I could get a woman to react to me like he did, I'd be in good shape. It was love at first sight. He goes, "What are we gonna do now?" You know, I mean, he was, you know, I mean, he was all about it, man. What?
I'm sure seeing this.
You know, yeah, he loved it. You know, yeah, I pull the weights out of the truck. He's like, "All right, let's do it." You know, and
He's jacked now, man.
oh yeah,
I swear, I saw him yesterday at Tessa's
Yeah.
big old group run.
Yeah.
The first thing I said to him, he walked in the door of the venue. I was like, Sean, come here. He walks up. I'm like, dude, why did your chest come in the room like 5 minutes? I mean, he's like a Terminator now.
Yeah. Now, see, I want to take credit. I want to take credit for that. You know, I mean, I really want to say, hey, you know,
So let's say his last name. What's his last name?
Yeah.
Sean Seymour?
Seymour.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's Seymour.
Yeah.
Does he still date that girl, the pretty girl that? I don't know.
Are you just gonna do him like that?
Right.
Now there's some girl watching. Oh, who are you talking about?
We just got together.
Yeah.
Chip was just playing.
No, man, I'm just kidding.
He's got that glass house full of vodka.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
trying to tell
No,
y'all-
I
he was
was
trying to tell
not.
y'all it was
We
water.
plead
Nah.
the fifth.
Let's see, we got any more questions? I don't think so. Let's roll on with the show. So, do you have any more questions you want to ask him?
I do.
Or you do?
I do. If we need to keep moving, we can keep moving. Okay, let me ask this one more question, and then we can keep it moving.
All right, last question.
So,
And we're
what
gonna roll the
methods
show.
do you utilize to encourage families to engage in health and fitness? And what takeaways could people use in their own lives at whatever point in their health and fitness journey that may be?
You know, the Nike slogan was "Just do it," and you know, I mean, my question is, you know, here's the thing. We talked a little bit about this when we were running back from,
From the march?
yeah, and you know, when you know, kids that grew up in the turn of the century, the last turn of the century, and that grew up from, you know, let's say from early 1900s into the 1950s and 60s, you know, the family farm was still a major thing, and so, you know, people had to like work, you know, they had to like go outside, and they had to, you know, they had to do stuff, you know, they had to like plant, and they had to, you know, harvest, and they, you know, and they had to feed, you know, cattle, and they had to, you know, it was like hands-on, man. I mean, like, you know, you didn't have corporate America to take care of everything, and now everybody, you know, is inside. You know, you go from an air-conditioned house into an air-conditioned car. You drive down the road till you get to your parking lot. You park your car. You're outside for a second. Oh my God! Then you're back in an air-conditioned office. You sit in an air-conditioned office. Then you leave an air-conditioned office. You get back in your air-conditioned car. You drive in your air-conditioned car back to your air-conditioned house, and you go to bed in your air-conditioned room until you wake up the next morning. And you never even go, you hardly breathe air, you know, in a course of a day. I mean, you don't touch dirt. You don't touch grass. You know, you don't really see trees. You know, you see them outside your window, you know, but, you know, birds that live in trees, you may not even know that. Like, birds live in trees. You know, there's these things with wings, and they fly around, and, you know, like...
Darrell's from Queens. He doesn't know what trees and the birds are.
Easy.
Yeah.
We got trees in Queens.
Yeah.
Don't confuse us with Manhattan.
Yeah, yeah. And,
Got trees and birds.
yeah. And so people get disconnected from Mother Nature, and, you know, and there's something innately wrong with that. Like, I feel like they become more inhuman. They become, you know, they start losing their humanity when they, you know, are caught up in the rat race, and they're not in touch with nature, and they're not in touch with their own physical being, and it's just not healthy, you know. And so, you know, I mean, I feel like if you have a daily discipline where you go out and reconnect, and it's not just with nature, it's with other people who are doing the same thing that you're doing, who have shared, you know, that share the same experience with you, and that, you know, like-minded people doing this thing. You know, it just, there's so much good that comes out of it that, you know, if you haven't tried it, then you're missing out on a big part of life. You know, I mean, every day is an opportunity to go out and have these experiences, and if you don't do it, then you just blew one of those days. And I look at it now from a standpoint of my kids are 15 and 11. Okay, the 15-year-old, I've got about 1,000 days left with him. That's it. He's gonna go to college, and that's it. He's gonna go to college, and he's gonna get a job, and that's it. Okay. Right. So I've got 1,000 days. That's it, man. In 1,000 days, I have no more days. My days are over. All right.
Can't afford to waste one.
I can't waste one. I can't waste one of those. Mm-hmm. So I look at it from a standpoint of being grateful for every day, because those aren't even a guarantee. And then once I'm given the gift of a day, making the best of it, and I'm trying to include this running and fitness. And don't give me an excuse. Don't tell me that you had a doctor's appointment, or that you had a dentist appointment, or that your kid had a play, or that I've heard every excuse under the book. I've been a fitness and trainer for 10 years. I've heard every single excuse. Mm-hmm. There was a guy, one of the guys I grew up with racing, and dudes, he's elite, and we were running the Atlanta Track Club, and we were running the mile, and gun lap goes off, and we get around the back, and I cooked this guy going down the back stretch, and I was feeling great.
Yeah.
And he turns around at the finish line, and he goes, I just didn't have it today. He goes, my dad died last night. And I was like, I have heard every single excuse in the book, but I've never heard that one, man. And I was like, dude, I go, what are you doing here? And he goes, I felt like I had to honor him, and this is the only way I could do it, and he didn't make excuses. He went and competed.
Right.
And so you can either be a person that makes excuses, or you can be a person that goes out and does the work and gets the rewards. And what's your priority? Is your priority? And here's the thing: is everybody has 30 minutes in a day. I don't care what you're doing, man. Everyone has 30 minutes in a day. Okay, and if you don't, your priorities are wrong.
Right.
So Ed, was that too much talking?
Oh man! All right, so that was an excellent answer. Great interview there. We're gonna roll on with the show, Chip. I'm hoping you're gonna hang around and sit with us. All right, so let's see. Let's move on to the next section. We've got Roy with Word on the Street.
Word on the Street. All right, we got the track and field that's coming up in the Summer Olympics.
This weekend.
This weekend actually starts tomorrow night.
Starts tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's the first event.
So, what are y'all looking forward to in this? Because actually, I don't. It's just something just have to catch me in order to make me look at like what we were looking at earlier. Right. I can, now I know there's a story there, and I can look into that part. But this year, I just don't feel anything. It's like the old guys. Yeah, I know y'all are all more into the running than I am.
But I used to be. I'm surprised to hear that from you. With you in your you've got about a month almost to the date for your BQ attempt.
Yeah.
I would think you would be so in like the running zone. Oh, man, so I got my cheat sheet. So let's see. What am I looking forward to? Well, definitely, obviously the marathons, right? So. And the men's 10,000. I was talking to Chip about this earlier. My bold prediction is that I think Galen Rupp is going to pull off the double. I think he's going to upset Mo Farah, and I think he's going to get first in the 10K. So I've got Mo Farah coming in second, and I got Galen Rupp and Mo Farah 1 and 2 in the 10K, and then I've got Galen Rupp medaling in the marathon. I don't know where. I'm not gonna put a color on that one, but somewhere between gold and bronze in the marathon. Okay. So those are probably my two biggest events I'm looking forward to. Also, obviously the 100, the 100 and the 200, because Usain Bolt's talking about he's gonna go sub 19. That's his bold prediction.
What?
Yeah, he said he thinks he's got a sub 19 in the 200.
When did that come out?
Probably. He said it's like 3 or 4 days ago. It was an interview with, I forgot who it was with.
I thought he was hurt.
You can see it on, I think I actually saw it on CNN. It made major out. This wasn't even Runner's World. This was on a CNN interview.
Yeah.
But he was hurt early in the year. But he said he's making big gains.
What?
And he said he's going to get all 3 medals. So, he's got 100, 200, and the 4x100 straight golds. But he said he's going to get a world record in the sub-19 and the 200.
Damn.
So,
Man. I remember when Michael Johnson ran his 1932. I didn't think I would live to see that broken. I think I said that when it happened. I said I won't live long enough to see this one broken.
With those gold shoes.
But this man is out of this world. He's super freak.
imagine if he could actually get a good start.
It's-
Imagine he was able to perfect his, because once he hits full stride,
Yeah.
there's nothing on 2 legs in the world that's going to catch up with
Yeah,
him.
but
They
he's 6'5".
somebody said there's an American. I can't remember his name. There's an American guy who's fat. They say he's faster than him in the first 60 seconds.
Oh, there's a lot of people that probably he's not very fast out of the blocks. Well, not 60 seconds, but
Yeah, and I said probably
maybe the
60.
first second or two
60
out of the
meters.
block, because he's so tall.
Mhm.
He's a little bit slow out of the blocks.
Yeah.
But once he hits about 20, 30,
40, yeah.
definitely about 40 meters. Once he's standing up,
Standing
up.
you know, you come in and you're low. Once he gets tall,
Yeah.
forget about it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's why he's so good on the turn, but that's a bold prediction. Obviously, we're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll see. So let me give y'all some dates.
That's
in
a hell
case.
of a claim too, to be the fastest man in the world.
The men's 100 is Saturday at 8:30 a.m. So that's, Usain Bolt, Justin Gatlin's going to be in that one. They got their thing going on. Johan Blake, the other Jamaican guy, I don't know if you remember him last year with the cornrow.
Yeah.
He's been making some huge gains. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what he does. What else do we have this weekend? So the 10,000 is, the 10K is Saturday at 8:27.
The women's is Friday night, though.
The women's is
Yeah, it's Friday night.
Friday night.
That's the
as
first
in
final,
tomorrow.
yeah. Tomorrow night, you can
Okay.
watch the women 10K. I don't
I
think
know the
there's
1500 is tomorrow too.
prelims.
Oh, that's prelim.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I want to see Brenda Martinez.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, and that finish she had was.
Hey man, I just gotta say one thing: the women's steeplechase. Oh man, those girls are smoking.
Yeah.
She's just trying to get me in trouble.
No,
No, I don't even know.
Baiting you.
dude,
I have
they're
no idea it was in the steeplechase.
so hot.
What is the steeplechase?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Women's marathon is Sunday at 8:30. By the way.
Okay. And on the note of women, and not Olympics, but women's sports, I was the other day I was watching the women's CrossFit Championship. This thing was ridiculous. They had to do 300 squats.
But that's not in the Olympics.
No,
Okay.
just on women's sports.
You
300
they might add
squats.
CrossFit to the Olympics.
They probably will at some point. 300 squats, 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, and a 1 mile run.
Yeah.
All in a weighted vest.
Oh my god.
And they were killing it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's unreal. I mean, everybody's legs was just jacked and ripped.
CrossFit.
I have issues with
Alright.
CrossFit though. That squatting stuff.
They're just a
That's-
different kind. They're a
I don't think
different
that's
They're
good for
different
you.
breed. They are-
It's not good for your
100%.
knees. It can't be good for your knees.
No man, we don't take
They're
ourselves that
chip
seriously.
breed. They're
man.
chip breed.
Oh yeah, you are. Are you a CrossFitter?
Dude, no, I don't take myself that seriously, man. I can't do it.
CrossFitters
Those
are,
are CrossFitters.
and I know some CrossFitters.
People say it's cultish.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely. I mean, I guess at some point you could argue that any
Yeah.
hobby or interest
Mm-hmm.
is cultish.
Yeah.
But they are, yeah. It transcends everything about their life. I mean, I don't know. People say that to me about running. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't judge CrossFitters.
Depends on what group
It's
you're
the
in.
most intense workout I've ever done is CrossFit. I went to a
Some of that stuff I like. I don't know. I see the knees, the deep squats, and like when you're coming down like that with weight, that pressure's got to go somewhere. And it's just gonna go out your knees.
Oh.
Speaking of intense workouts, I had to print this out because I couldn't believe it. All right, I'm kind of a Galen Rupp, groupie or something like that. But so Galen Rupp was doing this interview with, I don't even know who he was interviewing with, but before the interview, this is the workout he did. He did 4x1 miles at 425 per rep. Now keep in mind, his 5K PR is 12:58, which is 4:10 a mile.
Oh my god.
So his PR is 4:10 a mile. He's doing 4x1 miles at 425 per rep. All right. While wearing, hold on. 4:25 while wearing marathon flats. Then he switches shoes. He puts on track spikes. Does another set, 4x1 miles. This time at 4:21.
Yeah.
Then he concludes with 2x300 meters at 42 seconds per rep, and then finishes at about a 10K pace on the track. That is in the middle of a 145-mile week.
Yeah, that was a preparation. That's a 10K preparation.
Think about this.
Yeah.
That's in the middle of a, not 45, 145-mile week. So this is why when I say I think he can double it. Okay, here's another one, right? This was back in January of 2014. He sets the American indoor record for 5,000 meters. 9 days later, he breaks the American record for the indoor 2-mile. Then a few minutes after that, on the same exact track, he goes out and runs 5x1 miles.
Cut down.
Here are his splits: 4:21, 4:20, 4:20, 4:16, 4:01. Wow.
Yeah. That was.
Do you remember when people thought a 4-minute mile? I know you got it. When a 4-minute mile was impossible.
Mm-hmm.
This guy broke the American indoor records at a 5K. Right? 9 days later, I run a 5K. I know Chip said he can dance later that day, but 9 days later, he breaks the American record for the 2-mile, and then a few minutes after breaking the American records, 4:21, 4:20, 4:20, 4:16, and 4:01.
Yeah, cuts him down. Yeah. That was very controversial. It was because there was some people.
They said it was impossible.
Well, yeah, it was very controversial, and
So
it fed to.
Now they questioned his.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because the Oregon Project got heavily,
Yeah, that was very controversial, and so. But what's interesting about that is they've been doing that from the beginning, and so what happens is when your body's ability to get the lactic acid out. So in other words, you're training your body to purge lactic acid. Okay, so if you train your body to purge lactic acid, then it does a better job of purging lactic acid. So what they do, and if you look at the Atlanta Track Club guys, so you're in Atlanta Track Club event, or you're any road race in Atlanta, you see a guy in a yellow singlet running, and let's say you beat him, or let's say he beats you, whatever. You finish the race, you're sitting around, you're talking. How you doing? How'd you run today? How you been training? How's your training going? All that kind of thing. And then you'll notice he wraps it up, and then he leaves, and he goes and does a workout. Okay, that's because the Begleys have taken what they learned from the Oregon Project. Yeah, because she ran for them.
Who are the educators? Who are you said the Begleys?
Yeah.
Are those the people that run Atlanta?
They are the coaches at the Atlanta Track Club.
Ah, gotcha.
So,
okay.
yeah. And so what they're doing is they've kept that. They've kept that aspect of the Oregon Project, of Alberto's of training.
Yeah.
And the science behind it and all makes sense. And so you see Atlanta Track Club guys doing it. It's becoming more common now for people to do this. So when it was done, the old timers came out and said controversial things about it, but what current elites know is that now it's becoming more common.
Yeah.
So what is this method? It's about burning up.
You're not, when you think you're done, you're not done, and that proves it. Yeah.
I mean, here's the basics of it, right? Think about okay, you run. So I quoted you the splits he was running his 4x1 miles at is about 5K pace. So let's take what's your 5K pace?
5K.
Your best 5. Let's call it
9:31.
Okay, so what is that?
Just say 9:30.
Let's call it
19:30.
19:30. Let's call it 6:05 per mile, right? So 6:05 per mile. That would essentially mean you would run the Peachtree Road Race as fast as you can, and as soon as you finish the Peachtree Road Race, as fast as you can, 3 minutes later, you're going to do 4x1 miles at 6 minutes flat.
Well, Peace Road Race is 10K. He did the 2 mile.
He did do 2 miles.
Yeah, so it'd be like running a 5K,
More like a 5K, yeah.
but then doing 3 times the mile, 4 times the mile after. But what I think the guys are doing is thousands.
At 6 minute pace. So
Yeah.
after the Vinings 5K,
Yeah.
3 minutes later, you go and run a 6 minute mile, a 90-second
Yeah.
jog break, another 6 minute mile
Yeah.
right after.
Yeah, right after.
That breaks down the axis. I mean,
Lactic acid.
the lactic
What it does is it trains your body.
It trains your body to break it down, right?
Yep.
Oh,
So
okay.
you eliminate soreness.
Now, meanwhile, us, like I
Cramps.
guess we
And that's
run it,
pretty
and
much-
then you just sort of lay out and you drink some
Yeah.
chocolate milk and you're like, ooh, I did it. But what Chip is saying, like the Atlanta Track Club people, they
They do
run
a
the race
workout.
and then they do a workout after.
Now,
Yeah.
what's the goal of that? So does it eliminate like the soreness?
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Cramps,
It's like
fatigue.
like when you run a marathon, this is the best way I can explain it. You get up to about around, I would say 19, 20 miles when they say you hit that wall right there. If you're running at a 9-minute mile pace, if you stop right there and you try to pick back up, it's very, very hard to pick back up at that 9 minute because that acid starts coming out.
Yeah.
And it basically, what it does, it kind of swells up in you or something, and it prevents you from picking that pace back up. And see, what it is saying, when you do it, what they're talking about, it like purges that acid, that keeps it from swelling up your joints and stuff, and it allows you to pick back up that pace.
Yeah, your bloodstream takes lactic acid away from your muscles. And so by doing these workouts, it trains your body to do that more efficiently.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just cleans you out. And so, I don't know, man. All I know is that
Do you do that? Do you use that method?
When I cross the finish line, I mean, I'm not saying that I won't.
You may have.
But I grew up in the old, I'm old school dude. I'm one of the old school guys. I understand both sides of it because I understand a little bit of the science, but I know that it's worked. I know that other people are doing it. I know even other athletes in other sports. I know wrestlers will do it. I've seen wrestlers do it.
That's part of the book that you had me reading. They were trying to teach you how to,
Advanced marathon. Book
how
changed my
to
life.
train your body to
Yeah.
break down acid.
Yeah, so it's. I know the science behind it. I mean, I would say that I probably have my kids do it. I actually do. I have John do it. I have him run repeat thousands or repeat hundreds. What I did when I was a kid is I always did strides after it, and that's what we called it. Is we did basically 150s or 100s.
Yeah.
So we go easy, medium, hard, easy, medium, hard, easy, medium, hard. So we call it strides.
Mhm.
What they're doing though is legit workouts.
Like
I mean,
legit work.
4 times the mile after.
When you're going under 5K
Yeah.
pace,
So
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much just like
your mile repeats.
what I did when I was doing my 800s. I would run 800s, jog 200, then pick back
But
up.
here's the
and-
difference though.
But
You weren't doing your 800s at 5K
No,
pace.
I know.
You were doing the.
oh yes, I was.
Were you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I was.
Oh yeah, you were doing the
Yeah.
Gaso 800. So
Yeah,
yeah, I guess
yeah,
it's
I
about
was.
5. But yeah, but except you're doing a mile instead of 800s.
Yeah.
And the other thing with if you're doing
So
the
you,
Gaso 800,
you don't stop. You just
you're
slow
doing
down.
a rest that's equal to the repeat time. So let's say you were doing 3-minute 800s, then you were probably
Yeah.
taking 3-minute rest.
Probably so. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
stop.
That's not what
I
this
continue.
is though. I think I don't know if I wrote it down in between.
don't
his
stop
mile
in
repeats,
between, you just
it
keep
wasn't
going.
3 minutes. No, you gotta recover on repeat.
No, I did 800s like that.
They typically
I
do.
did 800s like that. I ran 300. I mean, 3-minute 800s, jog 200.
Yeah, so that's your recovery.
And then, yeah.
You're saying,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't stop and stand still, but
Yeah.
you're
Active
you're jogging. Yeah, it's just recovery.
They
getting
call
your
it
heart rate
active
down.
recovery. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is his recovery period, same thing. He's jogging or whatever it is you're doing to lower your rate. But it was even less than 3 minutes. If I think it was 90 seconds on a 1-minute repeat.
Yeah, I saw a kid on
outrageous.
Saturday at St. Pius. My kid goes to St. Pius. He ran 24 times a quarter and 75 with 30-second rest. 24. He's a senior in high school, and I don't think I did that when I was an elite club runner. And I was watching, and I sat there and I kept looking at his face. And I was talking to him the whole time. I go, well, you don't look fatigued. Your stride's not breaking down, and but I mean, gee whiz. I mean, I don't never really had the ability to go that hard in a workout.
Yeah.
But I see, my thing is I wasn't afraid of dying in a race. I mean, I was more afraid of losing than I was afraid of dying. So I'd pay.
Sound like pre-fun.
I'd pay a high price in a race.
Yeah.
I would be willing to pay a high price in a race. But in a workout, man, I got other stuff to do today. I mean, that's too much.
Well, the kids are just getting faster, man. I think like 10 kids broke 4 minutes this year.
No.
10 high school kids.
10 kids have broken 4 minutes in history.
And history. Oh, I thought it was all this.
3 of them have done it in the
this
last
year.
2 years.
Okay.
It's still amazing that this is keep happening.
Right.
I mean, if 2 do it in 1 year, that's never happened.
Right.
1 did it last year. Before last year, only 7 in history had done it. What's his name? Ryan. His 50-year-old 800-meter record was broken this year at the NCAAs. So there's a lot of stuff. I think it's because exactly what you guys are doing here. And what you're doing here is you're bringing, a lot of attention into the running community. Mile Split is, if you go to www.milesplit.com, that's the platform that every kid in America that runs is on, okay? Yeah. And so every single time of every single race run in America, and it's all live. And so everybody knows everybody's running live. And so you're preparing in track, you're comparing apples to apples, minute by minute. And I think that's why all these kids are running this fast, because they see a time post and they go on and beat it.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right. The other word on the street is about the big group run. I mean, that was my first time ever making it out there. Now,
Really?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was like I did the 6 mile run. I started out and I was out there and I was going with Tara Mooney and a couple other guys.
Yeah, she's fast.
Yeah, she's fast.
She won.
So I was just keeping up with her, and
That's right.
and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, they're about to take me up under 7 minutes. I was like, let me just slow down a little bit. But I eventually caught back up with them, and we were running, and I started being an old man. I started drifting off of them. I just stayed behind in the crowd, and I mean, we had fun. We all made it back. I mean, together. I mean, 2 of the guys that I was following found out one of them is going to do that tunnel light.
Oh, tunnel light, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to do it in September.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking. We started talking about stuff like that trail and everything.
Yeah.
But what do y'all think about it? Was your first time or second?
No,
time?
this is my second one. I enjoyed it. I had actually forgot it was. I thought it was like 3 or 4 miles. I forgot it was 6 miles, but I was glad to do the 6. It was nice to get the mileage in.
I think they did have a 3-mile option also.
They did, but I wasn't gonna do it. But I got with a good group. I started off behind GK Smith from Black Men Run, and Susie. What's Susie's last name?
I don't know.
Susie
Roadrunner
Sports.
Roadrunner Sports.
We ran together. A couple folks from Atlanta Tri Club, so we had a good little group, good pace. We missed our first turn over there by West Egg, but we ended up catching back up. It was a good route. Pushed hard. I felt good, but it was weird because when I would stop, it felt like I couldn't breathe. But like during the run,
Thank you
I
for
felt
saying
good.
that, because I'm hoping that's just the heat.
yeah, I'm
Because
hoping
It
it's
was
humidity.
really humid that
It was
yeah.
very
When I'm
humid.
training now,
But it felt
it's
thick.
like I did not feel like this last year when I was training. It's
Yeah.
like it just feels real heavy for me to breathe. And I'm like, man, I need to go see a doctor.
No, the high school boys were saying all the same thing, and they have years, like the seniors have 4 years of data to go back and look at, and they're way off right now, and they're all are way off, and they said they're describing it the same way y'all are describing it. I haven't had the experience because I always run in the morning, but
Yeah.
what y'all are describing is exactly what they've been talking about.
It alarmed me at first because
Yeah.
at first I started getting a little lightheaded, but I just started slowing my breathing down. I was just trying to take deep, controlled breaths while as we stop at an intersection, let the cars go by, and I regained my composure before it was time to take off again. But it was the weirdest thing. I was like, I would expect my breathing to be like that, running and pushing hard, not when I'm stopped.
Were you running hard or just kind of taking it easy out there?
It was pretty good. I mean, my cruising is probably 8:45, 9 a mile, and we were pushing 750.
Oh, you were working.
Yeah, but I felt
It
fine.
was really hot out there.
It was.
That time.
But that's what I'm saying. When we were running, I felt fine. Like, I wish I really need to go with another Garmin with a heart rate monitor, but I felt fine. It wasn't until I stopped.
It was probably adrenaline.
I think it's Roy saying. I think it's the air's too thick.
Well, for him to say though that he didn't feel it when he was running, but when he stopped, that's when he felt it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've had that experience too, where like I'm in the middle of a run and the adrenaline of the run and the competition, I don't feel it. But the second I stop, then all of a sudden, you know, adrenaline fades. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like hurting. You know?
Speaking of that, you remember we was talking about maybe Chip can comment on this. Runner's high. Me, you, and Margot was talking about it. Runner's high.
I don't remember, but it sounds like something we probably talked about.
Well, she was telling us about how runner how it was to her. It was like
Last name. Last name.
oh, Margot Gregory. But we were talking about it, and she was explaining to us like we were talking about like runner's high. It's like you go a few days and you just gotta get out and run. Basically, you just feel that like. I mean, you're like, you gotta have it like it's a drug.
That's what I said.
I said, well, I think I was saying that.
Oh, okay. Because I don't necessarily agree with that, but
I do.
But
That's what I hear that term.
She was
That's what I
saying-
think.
Well,
See,
she was
It's like
saying,
you get that high where you enjoy running and you just want to
Yeah.
do it. You just want to do it. Like
I've
you just sit
always-
around like I want to go for a run.
I've always heard the term, like when people describe it to me, they're saying it like mid-run.
Yeah.
Like
of
they
course.
hit it, they're running and then they hit a point to where it's almost like
yeah.
nirvana.
That's what she was saying. Yeah, that's
So
what
what
Margot was
happens
saying.
is
No,
That's how
I've hit
it's
that
always
too.
described.
Yeah,
I
'cause
was-
it just takes over. Your body becomes automatic.
Not necessarily
Yeah, so that's what
like
happened.
I'm sitting around. I mean, that's every day for me. That's like to me the addiction thing that Chip was talking
Yeah,
about. But
that's what happened to me Monday when I ran that 20. Actually, I ran 22 miles. My phone died on me, but I was on the treadmill and I was up to like, all right, I'm
you
just
did
gonna
not
get
get
there.
runner's high on the treadmill.
No, I'm lying to you. I'm serious. I'm just gonna make a 3-hour run, right? So I'm like
Real runners of it.
trying to go at a slow pace, like you said, go at a slow pace, and I'm like struggling.
Wait, I said go to slow pace.
Yeah, when
Hey,
you're
y'all
doing your
put
long
bad
run,
words
when you're
in
doing your
my
long
mouth.
runs, you gotta go slow, right?
No, I don't go slow.
It's LSD, man. We're talking about
Oh my God.
addiction.
Drill.
It's long,
You
slow
said-
distance.
oh,
I
Your
probably
long distance,
you
you
used to
should-
go out
should be-
at your marathon pace, and
Yeah,
that's
a minute slower, right?
yeah, about a minute slower, but that's
what
not
I'm talking
slow.
about. Well, that's slow to me.
It's so you trying to if it's slow for you then at 20 miles you should have finished and just like been chilling. I bet you were
all right,
struggling the
listen
last.
to what I'm about to say.
Were
all
you
right?
struggling the last few miles?
That's right. I was
Okay.
struggling
That's
the
all
last
I'm
few
saying.
miles. And all of a sudden,
Because I want to put a
mile 19
Here's the
hit.
problem. People say slow. Like even when I'm gonna stop and cut you off. Because it's the same thing I was thinking when you said you were running 7:45. What's your half marathon PR?
Half marathon PR was either one. I think it was 158 or 2.
What pace is that? Anybody?
That's
That's like 8 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you're running. You're on
8:40 something.
you're on a group run, like kind of like a fun run, and you're like 30 seconds under your half marathon pace. That's not easy running. That's a pretty hardcore running, you know. And my half marathon pace is like 6:30 something. If I'm out doing 6 minutes flat, that's not fun. So to me, and so that's why when you would say like I'm going down the long run, oh this is easy, and I'm like, well what pace you doing? And you tell me like your goal marathon pace, like yes, there's a place for like a marathon paced long run as part of your training, but for most people, maybe you do that once, and when you do it, that's not an easy run. That's like one of your capstones. That's like a hardcore run. But to go out every week and run your long run at your goal marathon pace, that's too fast. So yeah, I'm saying you should go slower than that, but I'm not saying go slow as in you're like, you know, barely, you know, moving. You know.
Okay, now back to my story.
Okay, I just wanted to make that. I just wanted to get that out there because I think too
I
many
was
people
running about
are running
around-
too fast, thinking that they're running.
I think
easy.
around 8:40
Okay,
at this time.
that's
And when I
good.
hit mile 19, all of a sudden something a jolt just hit me. Plus it may have been the song that came on also. But I mean something just told me like hit the speed up. I hit the speed up a whole I dropped it down basically, and I just was feeling so good and so focused. It was like straight forward. I was just moving, and it just felt so good. It felt like I was running a 10K. Other than I was about to finish at 3 hours, but at that moment, I did not feel any kind of like sluggish. I mean, like I'm about to die trying to get to those 3 hours. It just like was a boost, like someone just gave me some kind of surge, and I was like, oh my God, this is what must have been what Margot was talking about.
Took some white powder, didn't you?
No, man, that's called it's called a second wind.
A second win. I get the second win all the time. I think.
That's the second
but
win.
That was just the feeling of that was just
yeah.
crazy.
The chemical, the
Really
body's
amazing.
response to pain is a chemical release, which the brain produces. Is called endorphin. That's all the second wind is the gland in your brain. So the muscles send messages through electrical, to your brain. It says pain. Your brain then releases this endorphin, and you get a second wind. And all of a sudden you feel good. You just got a shot of endorphin, and you're good to go. That's the second wind. Yeah.
Man, I wish I could get that during a marathon, because that
Does it
was
do it?
amazing.
Now, actually,
I was amazed at that.
Frank Shorter talks about it all the time. He talked about it. He calls it when the flow returns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is, when the pain is really bearing down on you, and you want to give up, he goes, just keep moving and wait for the flow to return, and that's what happened to you.
Man, did you guys read, or we probably can't, I hate to even bring it up because we're long, we can't talk about it, but if you haven't read that interview he did with
Runner's World.
Runner's World.
Yeah,
Or
he's
heard
still
it, I heard
pissed.
the audio.
Yeah, he's still ticked about getting. He feels he was ripped off by the Eastern.
When
the
the
East
doping
German
guy.
Yeah. So he's still talking about it, because he feels that he should have gotten 2 golds and whatever. But
Yeah, he said he was at peace with it, but I was thinking more of that the abuse that he endured. Just read it.
he was a 200 a week guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. 200 miles a week.
Yeah. Apparently his father was like.
Yeah. Jerry Lindgren was worse though. His old man was a mean drunk.
Did you read it?
Frank
Shorter?
Yeah, I did.
It doesn't get any worse.
Well,
in my opinion.
Jerry Lindgren's dad, I think he might have been worse, but Jerry Lindgren was running insane 20, 30 miles a day because he was trying to escape an alcoholic father that was abusive.
He said that's what Frank Shorter was.
Yeah.
But then he got, he used to feel guilty because he had sisters.
Yeah.
So when I say it doesn't get any worse,
Yeah.
what his father was doing,
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah.
All of them. So, and I guess it was something he held on to for like a really long time. But
Yeah.
I'll never forget. It was, I can't remember, I think it was Mutai. One of the Kenyans was saying, there was some interview there, and they were asking him why the Kenyans were so fast, and why Americans would never be able to catch up with them, or why Americans can't seem to keep pace with them. And he said, well, everyone always says it's because we live at elevation, or it's the length of our limbs compared to our torso, all the stuff. He's like, but that's not it. He's like, the difference is that we are born and raised and bred in pain. All we know is suffering and work and pain. And he's like, you got 10 miles to school, 10 miles back, you work all day long, muscles ache. So from a very early point in your life,
Push past that pain.
You're born and bred in pain. Whereas Americans, born in a hospital, your parents are feeding you, you're riding around in a car seat. We live like this more like life of luxury, and then pain for us is like an
It's
exercise.
pleasure.
Yeah.
We live for pleasure. All we do is seek to pleasure ourselves.
That's it.
Dude, you just summed up the entire freaking point of the whole thing right there.
That's
That-
it. So when I
that's
think
it.
of Frank Shorter and his life,
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that
Yeah.
pain that he grew up in, he was able, as you said, to channel
Yeah.
into.
Well, his was emotional and psychological, whereas the Ethiopians is physical. But pain is pain.
Yeah. No, his was very physical.
Well, he did that to himself.
No. I mean,
The old man was beating on him? Oh, yeah.
It was extreme
Okay, yeah.
abuse
Yeah.
in every possible way you can imagine.
Wow, yeah, I didn't
So-
read that part.
Yeah. So,
Huh. I'm glad I missed that because I always.
yeah, he said his, we won't, but he said every night his father would come upstairs,
Drunk.
raging alcoholic, and you know, I think I don't know. He's like 8 siblings, you know, brothers and sisters, and his father would just get to the top of the stairs, and it was just like any, mini, miny, mo, picking the door that he was gonna kick in, and then, you know. And Frank Shorter was saying how it was like mixed emotions because on one level when they heard him at the stairs, he'd be praying that don't pick my door, but then he's like it would be even worse if you picked another door, because then you had to listen to it, and then you would feel like the guilt.
Man, that's rough, dude.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, apparently
imagine growing up like that.
He'd leave for a run. He said he stopped going for a while because you know his father was, you know, doing stuff to his sisters, you know, like of the really, really bad nature, and so yeah, it was all bad. But yeah, I don't know how we got there.
Dude, that was some insightful stuff, though. The pain versus pleasure.
Yeah,
pain versus pleasure. Yeah. If I find that interview, I'm gonna link it one day and post it out there because it was audio. It was good stuff. We're gonna skip this. Might get us in trouble because we're like, I don't know, an hour and a half in. So we got that fan feedback. We're getting it live. You know, thanks for y'all who got 2 people. Thanks for y'all that were hanging around and watching us live. This was an experiment. It seems to be going well. Chip, thanks for being on the show, man. I think we all learned, the viewers and definitely us here. Upcoming events. Not much going on. Tess has her, I guess the one thing I want to shout is Tess has her ATL relay. And dang it, I don't know the date offhand. But it's the 10K, 20K, and Castleberry Mile. And then the 10K can be relayed, the 20K can be relayed, or you can do it all by yourself. You got like 8 different options for this race all in one day.
Oh, you don't know what day.
Sorry, Tess, I forgot the date.
I'm looking it up now.
All right, yeah.
September, or first week of September or last week in August.
I think it's the last week in August, like 27 or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Man, I looked at it today. I can't believe.
Well, y'all look it up. It's a really
August
cool event.
27th and
27th.
Yeah. All right, August 27th, ATL relay, 10K, 20K, Castleberry Mile, 4x5K, 2x10K, however you want to slice it up. It's a fun event.
This is fitness and fellowship at its best.
Yeah.
The address is 101 Centennial Olympic Park Drive, Atlanta, Georgia 30311. Once again,
Is that where it's going to be at?
Castleberry Hill, 101
Okay.
Centennial Olympic Park Drive, Atlanta, Georgia 30311.
All right, thanks listeners. For anyone who's still hanging in here, you can get a prize. I'll figure out what it is later. This is Road Runners of Atlanta. This was episode 8.0. We had our second ever guest host, Chip. Again, we just want to thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, fellas.
And y'all all have a good day.
All right. Man. All right, I have got to be in a workout in 7 hours.
How many?
Appreciate you coming,
All right,
man.
man. That was awesome, guys. Y'all have an amazing thing going on here.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Before we leave,
Oh, yeah, take a picture.
you gotta get a picture. You can sit that chair in the end. Let's clear this off real quick.
Yeah. All right.
We'll only stop this.